I imagine you've noticed that at the end of every Torah portion, the Parsha of the week, there is a number of how many verses this Parsha contains. And it usually finds a word, a name, corresponding to this number. Now, Vayakel, last week's Parsha, has 122 verses. The Parsha of this week, which is, by the way, the last Torah portion of the book of Shemos, Shabbos Chazak, this one has, excuse me a moment, Tzadik Beis, 92. Together, they have 214 verses. Now, why am I saying this? Because it seems to me, and to many commentators for that matter, that all these verses are superfluous. Nothing new in them. Why does the Torah write all that? So before we discuss this, let's say some Tehillim. In honor of the Rebbetzin Chaim Moshke's birthday, she is saying today, chapter 125, let's say this one. Shir Amalo Isaboitchem Badonai Kahar Tzion Lo Yimet Lo Olam Yeshev Yerushalayim Horim Soviv Lo Badonai Soviv La'amoy Me'ato Badoilam כי לא ינוח שבט הורש על גורל הצדיקים למען לא ישלחו הצדיקים בעוולוסו ידיהם. היטיב אדוני לטובים ולשורם בליבויסם ועמדתם על הכלכלויסם יוליכם אדוני אספויה לאובן Shalom al Yisrael. What could there be a better word than Shalom al Yisrael, peace upon Israel. With that, let's give some charity and let me discuss what I was bringing in. We know that in Torah, every word, every letter is precise. As the sages say, I can deduct mountains and mountains of halachos, of laws, from one superfluous, seemingly superfluous letter. Yet, the entire portion of Vayakel and then Pekudei, basically, they are repeating everything that needed to be done for the construction of the Mishkan. Earlier, Trumat Tetzaveh, there the Torah says how it must be done, what needs to be done, what fibers, what construction, sizes, everything in details. And then comes Vayakel Pekud and tells us, and they did. And he goes through again with every minute detail what they did. Now, why can't the Torah just simply saying, and they did as they were supposed to do? Just like we have, let's say, by Aaron, it says, Vayas Kein Aaron kasher tziva Hashem. Aaron did exactly what God told him. It doesn't go through again what God told him. There is telling the details of what they did, and there is telling the story of what they did. Sometimes the story is more important than the actual doing it. Let me explain what I mean by that. You know, a grandparent that's boasting about the accomplishments of their grandchild, how many times would you hear it from them? Because it is so precious to them. They're quelling, shepping naches. What was the Mishkan? There is the story of the Mishkan and there is the actual Mishkan. The story of the Mishkan is as follows. The Jews, unfortunately, after having received the Ten Commandments, Moshe Rabbeinu going up to receive the Torah, made a mistake with a few hours, and instead of waiting for Moshe Rabbeinu to come down, they made the sin, the golden calf. Something that God says, I will never forgive them. I will never forget it. Whenever there will be a moment of discomfort with the people, this will be remembered. There's an impurity which entered into this world, a stain which came upon the Jewish nation to be there forever. Or so it seems. Comes the Mishkan. Mishkan is which is called the Mishkan HaEdus, the Mishkan of testimony. So they ask the question, testimony of what? Testimony for what? That God has forgiven. The stain which has come into the world from the sin of the golden calf, the Mishkan is the sign that God has forgiven. So the Mishkan is the most precious thing. The Mishkan is the raison d'etre for our being. God's presence in this world. Why did God create the world? Because He wants a presence in this world. So the Mishkan is this symbol of the purpose of creation, the story of creation, the reason for creation. It's all in the Mishkan. Now this deserves to be told over and over and over. So Eibishter, we're asking you over and over and over, we want the Beis HaMikdash.